What if I told you that one of Hollywood's biggest stars was once considered box office poison? That he went from Oscar nominee to prison inmate, and then rose to become the highest paid actor in the world? This isn't the plot of a blockbuster movie. It's the real-life story of Robert Downey Jr. From child prodigy to drug addict, from jailbird to Iron Man, Downey's life reads like a script too wild for even the most imaginative screenwriters. But how did he do it? How did a man who was once unemployed in Hollywood become the face of one of the most successful film franchises of all time? This is the story of how Robert Downey Jr. went from rock bottom to the top of the world. And trust me, it's a ride you won't want to miss. New York City, 1965. A young Robert Downey Jr. is born into a world of creativity and chaos. His father, underground filmmaker Robert Downey Sr., and mother, actress Elise Downey, inadvertently set the stage for both his future success and struggles. At the tender age of 5, little Robert made his acting debut in his father's absurdist comedy, Pound. Can you imagine stepping into a film set before you've even started kindergarten? This early exposure to the world of cinema would shape Downey's life in ways no one could have predicted. But here's where things take a dark turn. In a misguided attempt at bonding, Downey Sr. introduced his son to marijuana when he was just 8 years old. This moment would mark the beginning of a long and tumultuous relationship with substances that would nearly destroy Downey Jr.'s life and career. As a teenager, Downey's talent was undeniable. He honed his craft at the prestigious Stage Door Manor Performing Arts Training Center, rubbing shoulders with future stars. But while his acting skills were flourishing, so was his addiction. The seeds of destruction were already taking root. By the time he dropped out of St. Monica High School at 17 to pursue acting full-time, Downey was on a collision course with destiny. The question was, would his talent or his demons win out? The 1980s saw Downey's star begin to rise. He became part of the infamous Brat Pack, a group of young actors who dominated the decade's coming-of-age films. Remember Weird Science? That was one of Downey's early breakout roles. But it was his portrayal of a drug-addicted rich kid in 1987's Less Than Zero that really put him on the map. The irony? The role hit a little too close to home, mirroring Downey's own struggles with substance abuse. As he later said, it was like the ghost of Christmas future for him. The accolades kept coming. In 1992, Downey took on the role of Charlie Chaplin in the biopic Chaplin. His performance was nothing short of mesmerizing, earning him an Academy Award nomination. At this point, it seemed like the sky was the limit for the young actor. But here's the thing about rising stars. Sometimes they burn too bright, too fast. Despite his undeniable talent and growing fame, Downey was fighting a losing battle against his addictions. The question wasn't if he would fall, but when. As the 1990s progressed, Downey's life began to unravel at an alarming rate. His drug use spiraled out of control, leading to a series of arrests and stints in rehab. It was like watching a car crash in slow motion. You wanted to look away, but you couldn't. Remember the Goldilocks incident in 1996? Downey, high on drugs, wandered into a neighbor's home and passed out in their child's bed. It sounds like something out of a dark comedy, but for Downey, it was just another day in his downward spiral. The arrests kept coming. Possessions of heroin, cocaine, and an unloaded .357 Magnum, missed drug tests, probation violations. It seemed like every other week, Downey was making headlines for all the wrong reasons. His personal life was in shambles. His first marriage to actress Deborah Faulkner fell apart under the weight of his addiction. His career, once so promising, was now in a free fall. Studios wouldn't insure him, making him virtually unemployable in Hollywood. In 1999, Downey hit rock bottom. He was sentenced to 3 years in California's substance abuse treatment facility and state prison. Can you imagine? From walking red carpets to wearing prison jumpsuits. It was a fall from grace of epic proportions. But sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before you can start climbing back up. And for Robert Downey Jr., this was that moment. After serving nearly a year in prison, Downey was released on parole in 2000. It seemed like the universe was giving him one last chance, but old habits die hard, and Downey's road to recovery was far from smooth. He landed a role on the hit TV show Ally McBeal, which seemed like a step in the right direction. His performance was praised. He even won a Golden Globe. But just when things were looking up, Downey relapsed. He was arrested twice more and ultimately fired from the show. It was at this point that Downey had a moment of clarity. He later described it to Oprah Winfrey. "You know what? I don't think I can continue doing this." It was a simple realization, but a profound one. He had finally reached out for help and was ready to commit to recovery fully. But here's the million-dollar question. How do you rebuild a career and a life that's been shattered into a million pieces? For Downey, it would take more than just willpower. It would require a complete overhaul of his life, his mindset, and his approach to his craft. Downey's road to recovery wasn't easy, but it was nothing short of miraculous. He credits a combination of 12-step programs, yoga, meditation, and therapy for helping him stay sober. But perhaps the most significant factor in his recovery was the unwavering support of his second wife, Susan Levin. Downey met Susan, a film producer, on the set of Gothica in 2003. Despite her initial reservations about dating an actor, especially one with Downey's troubled past, love blossomed. They married in 2005, and Susan became not just his wife, but his rock and his producing partner. With Susan by his side, Downey began to rebuild his career one role at a time. But it wasn't easy. Many in Hollywood were still wary of working with him. Enter Mel Gibson, a close friend who believed in Downey's talents and paid for the insurance bond for Downey to star in The Singing Detective in 2003. The act of faith opened doors for Downey. Slowly but surely, he began to regain the trust of Hollywood. He delivered stellar performances in films like Kiss Kiss Bang Bang and Zodiac, reminding everyone of the immense talent that had been overshadowed by his struggles. But the best was yet to come. In 2008, Downey landed the role that would define his career and cement his comeback: Tony Stark in Iron Man. It was a risky choice for Marvel Studios given Downey's history, but director Jon Favreau fought for him, seeing parallels between Downey and the character Tony Stark. The risk paid off spectacularly. Iron Man was a massive hit, grossing over $585 million worldwide. Downey's portrayal of Tony Stark was universally praised, with many saying he was born to play the role. Just like that, Robert Downey Jr. was back on top. The success of Iron Man catapulted Downey into a new stratosphere of stardom. He reprised his role as Tony Stark in multiple Marvel films, including the Avengers series, which became some of the highest-grossing films of all time. But Downey wasn't content to rest on his laurels. He continued to challenge himself with diverse roles. He played the iconic detective Sherlock Holmes in Guy Ritchie's action-packed adaptation, showcasing his versatility as an actor. From 2013 to 2015, Downey was named by Forbes as Hollywood's highest-paid actor. It was a far cry from his days of being uninsurable. The boy who had started his career at 5 had now become one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood. But here's the thing about Downey's success. It wasn't just about the money or the fame. It was about redemption. Every role, every performance was a testament to his resilience, his talent, and his commitment to his craft. He had not just survived his darkest days. He had thrived in spite of them. Downey's transformation wasn't limited to his career. He became a devoted husband and father, welcoming 2 children with Susan. The wild parties and drug binges of his past were replaced by quiet nights at home and family weekends. But Downey didn't forget where he came from. He became an advocate for second chances, using his platform to speak about addiction and recovery. He serves on the board of the Anti-Recidivism Coalition, an organization that advocates for criminal justice reform and supports formerly incarcerated individuals. In recent years, Downey has also turned his attention to environmental causes. In 2019, he announced the launch of the Footprint Coalition, an organization aimed at using advanced technologies to protect the environment. He even adopted a vegan diet, later transitioning to pescatarianism in response to the climate crisis. It's a far cry from the self-destructive behavior of his past. Downey had not just saved himself, he was now working to save the world. Talk about a real-life superhero, right? As we look back on Robert Downey Jr.'s incredible journey, it's hard not to be inspired. Here was a man who had it all, lost it all, and then clawed his way back to the top. But more than that, he emerged as a better person, a more committed artist, and a positive force in the world. Downey's story is more than just a Hollywood comeback tale. It shows us that no matter how far we fall, there's always hope for redemption. In 2024, at the age of 59, Downey continues to push himself creatively. He's set to make a Broadway debut in McNeil, a play about a gifted novelist grappling with family issues and artificial intelligence. He's also slated to return to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this time as the iconic villain Doctor Doom. But perhaps Downey's greatest role is the one he plays off-screen, that of a survivor, a reformed addict, a devoted family man, and an inspiration to millions. His journey from child actor to Hollywood pariah to global superstar is a reminder that our past doesn't have to define our future. So, what can we learn from Robert Downey Jr.'s insane rise? Perhaps it's this. No matter how dark things get, no matter how impossible the odds seem, there's always a chance for a comeback. All it takes is the courage to ask for help, the strength to change, and the determination to never give up. In the end, Robert Downey Jr.'s story isn't just about the rise of a Hollywood star. It's about the triumph of the human spirit. And isn't that the greatest story of all? What part of Robert Downey Jr.'s journey resonates with you the most? Was it his early struggles, his rock-bottom moments, or his incredible comeback? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And remember, in the words of Tony Stark himself, sometimes you gotta run before you can walk. So keep pushing forward, no matter what obstacles you face. Until next time.